Hi, I'm Dave from BMC. Blade Logic Portal has introduced a feature called Vulnerability Management, which provides a simple process for fixing security issues in your data center. We use a scan file generated by a vulnerability management system such as Qualys or Nessus and import that information into Blade Logic Portal. Next, we map the host and vulnerability information in the scan file to servers and remediation content in a Blade Logic system. Then, with just a few clicks, we can launch operations in Blade Logic Portal that correct vulnerabilities. In this video, I import the scan file and do all the mapping. In a companion video, I show you how to launch remediation actions.
It's a straightforward process. First, you have to get the results of a vulnerability scan that was created using a scanning product such as Qualys or Nessus. The file should be in XML format. Once I have the scan file, I have to import it. I select Vulnerability Management, Import. You can select a scan file for a particular group of servers, but in this example I'm importing a general scan file that covers a range of servers. So for Scan Report I select Browse and I navigate to the scan file I want to import. Select the file and click Import. Now we display the list of assets in the vulnerability scan and map those assets to servers managed in Blade Logic. I select Vulnerability Management Assets. Here's the list of servers that were included in the scan. I click AutoMap. Blade Logic Portal matches the IP address and the DNS server of the assets in this list to servers managed by Blade Logic. In this case, it automatically mapped 20 servers. There's a manual mapping process that is sometimes necessary when networking gear such as firewalls and proxies make mapping less than simple. But in this case, AutoMap mapped everything. Now I display the list of vulnerabilities in the vulnerability scan that can be mapped to remediation actions in Blade Logic. I select Vulnerability Management, Vulnerabilities. I click AutoMap to perform an automatic mapping of vulnerabilities identified in the scan to patches in Blade Logic patch catalogs. It mapped 4 vulnerabilities. For vulnerabilities that remain unmapped, there's a manual mapping procedure. You can match vulnerabilities to any type of depot content that can be used for remediation, such as BL packages, software packages, or NSH scripts. I'm going to map this vulnerability. I select it, click Actions, and then select Map. Here you can either search or browse for the remediation content you want. I'm going to search, so I enter NetBIOS. I know this BL package corrects the problem, so I select it. This dialog also lets you define rules that specify when this package should be deployed. For example, you can specify that it is only deployed to targets with a particular version of an operating system. In this example, I'm not going to get into deployment rules. So I click Save. A message says that mapping has occurred. The Vulnerabilities page shows the remediation content that was selected and the type of remediation that will occur, such as a patch or a BL package deployment. If you have a long list of vulnerabilities, use the remediation type filter here or the mapping status filter here to find the vulnerability you just mapped. If necessary, repeat the same procedure I just went through to map additional vulnerabilities to remediation packages. Congratulations, you have successfully mapped asset and vulnerability information in a scan file to servers and remediation content in BladeLogic. You are now ready to launch operations to correct vulnerabilities. See part 2 of this video for a demonstration of that process.